true child. You dwell inside me, together we're one. Oh, you are my battle shield, sword for the fight. You are my dignity, you're my delight. You're sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and You're slow to anger. Your name is great and Your heart is kind. For all Your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing Your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Yes, sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I'll worship Your holy name. Lord, I'll worship Your holy name.
But the purpose of John writing this account of the gospel, which is different from all the other three in what he shares with us he saw in his life with Jesus. But he wrote in John 20, 30, and 31. I think I have that on here. The disciples saw Jesus do many other miraculous signs in addition to the ones recorded in this book. But these are written so that you may continue to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing in Him, you will have life by the power of His name. You will have life by the power of His name. So John is trying to get us to understand that certain things Jesus did was to show us Jesus, who Jesus is, was to tell us about what Jesus did. But it all centers around Jesus. So let's begin in that 4th chapter, verse 46. As he traveled through Galilee, that is Jesus, he came to Cana, where he had turned the water into wine. Well, how about that? He's going back to Cana. There was a government official in nearby Capernaum whose son was very sick. Capernaum was where Jesus lived. After he left Canaan, he and his family went to Capernaum. And there in Capernaum, that's where he began to look for his disciples and found several there. There was a government official in nearby Capernaum whose son was very sick. When he heard that Jesus had come from Judea to Galilee, he went and begged Jesus to come to Capernaum to heal his son who was about to die. And just so you know, the timing of John is completely different than the timing and the events that took place in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And here, John just wants us to realize that Jesus had gone to Judea first before he came back a second time to Cana. It's important for us to know that when John writes, he's not writing about necessarily the lifeline of Christ. His whole purpose is to show us who Jesus is. Just remember that with every sign that we look here at in the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks. So make sure you get this line from the scripture. He went to Cana to beg Jesus to come to Capernaum to heal his son. About 20 miles distance from Capernaum to Cana. Now, he probably had heard of Jesus while Jesus stayed there for a little bit. Miracles that took place, even the miracles that took place in Jerusalem. But this man was an official, a government official, an important person. This important person, we would maybe call him a VIP today, a very important person. Because he probably worked for Herod's palace, probably worked for Herod's throne, did whatever Herod asked him to do. He could have also been someone who worked with the Roman government. Capernaum was a great place. In fact, a little ways out of town, there was a group of soldiers who would meet there. And there was one whose name who was designated as a centurion that came to Jesus in Luke the 7th chapter and said, "My son is sick. My servant is sick. I want you to come." Well, that's not what he said. He actually said, "You don't have to come. I'm a man under authority. And whatever I say, those guys, they'll jump. And I know your authority comes from someone else." The centurion of all people had a faith that Jesus said, "I've never seen such great faith in all of Israel." This government official was a very important person, and he wanted Jesus to know it. His son was dying. He traveled 20 miles to get to where Jesus was, and he begged Jesus to come with him to his house. VIPs kind of have that. Important people kind of have that mentality, right? Okay, I want you to drop everything that you're doing because my need, my son, is more important than anybody else. They're not going to say it, but their attitude is, "I just need you to come take care of this because I don't have anybody else that I can go to now." He's kind of the last resort, this faith healer. Some other things I want to point out. After Jesus asked, "Will you never believe in me unless you see miraculous signs and wonders?" Then the official pleaded, "Lord, please come now before my boy dies." I want to read that verse to you from the New International Version. It says, "Unless you people see signs and wonders," Jesus told this man, "you will never believe." There's some hidden truths in this that we've kind of just gone over or left behind, morsels of spiritual food that maybe have been left on the ground that we just haven't really wanted to think about. But Jesus tells this man and those that may be around him, will you never believe in me unless you see miraculous signs and wonders? And that same thing holds true today. Jesus makes this very important statement on signs. Signs are about who he is, not about what we can get from him. We could also put in here, signs are about who he is, not about what our needs are. Now, he's a loving, loving Savior. And he doesn't just pass on what your needs are. We can always go to him. He will always help us. But let's remember something. The helping us may not be that we get what we think we need at the moment. That's a really important part of our Christian life if we could grow to get to that point. Signs are about miracles or about Jesus, not about what we want. It even goes true in the church. It's not about what the church wants. What's Jesus' will? What is his desire for us? And I think we'll find out here in a moment some things. The official believed his position would impress Jesus to come to his house. More than likely, people would do whatever this official said to do. And Jesus, surely because of his position, would have done the same thing. And Jesus has made a very confrontational statement when he said, you're just not going to believe unless you see more miracles and signs and wonders. Who you think you are does not impress Jesus. What impresses Jesus is, your will be done, not mine. When we come to him the way we are, with whatever we're carrying, baggage or burdens, sickness, or emotional things that we just can't handle. When we come to him the way we are, he will reveal himself. And that's the whole reason to perform the signs and the miracles and the wonders. It's for the benefit of knowing him. So if we go to him with that need or whatever it is that we ask for, because he did say, if you ask for anything in my name, I will do it. But there comes with that a caveat. There comes with that this thought that Jesus will help meet our need, but it doesn't mean that he won't try to teach us to understand what the need is. Because we can't always see the need because we're focused on what we want. So when we come to him as we are, the way we are, he will reveal himself. Jesus told this man, after talking to him straightforward about, he's like all the others. You're not going to believe in me unless you see something happen. But just wait. There's a real lesson here. Jesus told him, go back home. That's a dramatic pause. We know what comes next, but go home. I don't know if Jesus stopped or paused or what. But when Jesus said, go home, maybe everything else just kind of went, he became deaf to everything else. Go home. He's not going to help my son. My son is dying. What's wrong with him? I do this with Shelley a lot. She speaks, and then I answer her before she's done speaking, because I think I know what she's going to say. And then I'll hear these words in a very loving way, let me finish. And I say, okay. And it wasn't what I thought I was going to hear. I see some of you guys look. Oh, I see Connie already looking at. I saw Robert and Vicky. Yeah, okay. You know where I'm coming from. I would ask Deb and Mike, but it may be too early in their marriage. No. Go back home. And then he said, your son will live. This man came to get Jesus to go to his house to heal his son. Jesus says, no, you go home. Your son will live. Inconceivable. Never happens. Who has the power to heal and not be in the room? Who has the power to heal and not be with that person and pray for their healing? Now, we pray that prayer lots of times to family or friends or something, and they're hurting. We just say, Lord, you got to touch that person. You really got to heal them. You got to, they're really having a hard time. They need your help. And he hears your prayer. But there may be something that Jesus needs to teach them and teach us at the same time. If we're asking Jesus for the miracle because we need it, if we're asking Jesus, we need you to do it now, and Jesus is preparing for his statement back to you when he says, go back home. And then we leave without hearing the rest of it. Because there in the rest of it is if you leave, we don't want to talk about this, but if you leave, your son will be okay. Sometimes we don't want to leave. Sometimes we want to hang on to that thing. You're such a mean God. You won't hear my prayer. You're such a mean God. You didn't heal that person. You're such a mean God. And Jesus says, go back home and trust me. That's what he's trying to tell the official. Just go home and trust that what I say, what I will do, what I'm instructing you, be obedient to this. It won't be done the way you want it to. I'm not going to come to your home. I'm not going to go 20 miles just for you. And you say, that's not very kind. The fact is, Jesus had reasons to be in Cana. There were other people in other places that needed him. And this man came probably with an attitude that said, if I get him to come to my place, look at all the people that's going to come to my house because my son is going to be healed. Or I have so much authority in this place because I work for the government that Jesus will have to come. And that's not who Jesus is. He doesn't come at the drop of a dime. He says, move on. Trust me. The only way the official believed his son could be healed was if Jesus came to his house. Jesus wanted the official to trust in him. How would the official's son be healed? By leaving Jesus in Canaan and believing in him. Now, I don't know how that plays with you. I think John is trying to help us understand that there are a lot of different ways that Jesus will reveal himself to us. Some he will help with people that have just that need, and he'll be on the spot. And others, he'll want them to go back to where they are. Remember the demon that Jesus healed in the Gerasenes? The one that was filled with the demons that was in the graveyard. And this was more in the graveyard, where outside the city they buried their people. And there was these pigs. Remember, and Jesus told the demon to come out. And the demons left, went into the pigs, and the pigs went over the cliff. And You remember what that man said to Jesus when he got, after the people came out and said, Jesus, you got to leave. I mean, we can't afford to have all of our pigs go in the sea. And he said to Jesus, I want to go with you. And Jesus says, no, you stay here and you share with everyone that's there what I've done. You and I have to be aware of the fact that sometimes when Jesus says, not yet, no, you can move on, you do something else. Well, we just have to remember that trusting Jesus and his word, I think that's what John's trying to get across here. Wonders will take place when we trust him. Miracles will take place. So I'm getting ahead of myself. He asked as he went home, he asked those people that came to meet him when the boy had begun to get better, and they replied, yesterday afternoon at 1 o'clock, fever suddenly disappeared. Then the father realized that this was the very time Jesus had told him, your son will live. But the man left believing. The man left not getting what he came for, leaving in the faith that he didn't have when he came before, because his faith was now in Jesus, not in the work that he wanted Jesus to do. So when he got home, this is a really cool part of the story. When he got home, as he and his entire household believed it was there, then after his son was that the whole household had believed in him. This was the second miraculous sign Jesus did in Galilee after coming out of Judea. This kind of faith, this kind of trust, this kind of healing comes through Jesus in his way. That wouldn't be a bad slogan for us to live this week. The kind of faith and trust and healing comes from Jesus in his way. If you want to make it personal, in your way, Lord. That's kind of what in your will means. But in your way, Lord. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll talk to whoever you want me to talk to. I'll give whatever I need to give. But sometimes we go way before the horse and we try to do the things that we think Jesus would want us to do. What he's really wanting to do is to teach you and me who he is. So sometimes, and it doesn't mean that we quit praying if the immediate prayer hasn't been answered, the immediate need hasn't been given. It doesn't mean we quit praying. It just means that we go before him and we say, Lord, what is it do you want me to learn in this? Do you want me to wait? Do you want me to give this to you? What do you want me to do? I'll keep praying, Lord, and you told me if I just keep asking, you said we would receive. But Lord, maybe there's something in me that you need to do work in. This kind of faith, trust, and healing comes through Jesus in his way. This kind of faith, trust, and healing comes to a child, a marriage, a home, a church, as we leave our need before Jesus and obey him. Lots of times we come to an altar prayer and we've had a need, and we get in on our knees and we pray. Not so much anymore, because as you get my age, it's harder to get back up. It's a miracle, in fact. But we leave those things with Jesus. Monday evening, we get home from work and we tell our spouse, man, this is a lousy day. God didn't do anything that I prayed for. And we're all messed up because God didn't do something. And Jesus is trying to teach us that we have to leave at his feet whatever it is that we're praying for, whatever need, whatever sign, whatever miracle that needs to take place. But God, don't you know that this has to be done now? Because this is all in a time frame, and Jesus wants us to learn that our time frames may not be his. And he wants us to trust him. Now, it doesn't mean that we quit thinking about it. It doesn't mean that we don't quit praying about it. It simply means that we get the victory over what it is that's got our attention. And we leave it with him. And we go on our way back to Capernaum. And somehow we will find out that Jesus, in his benevolence and love, will have worked or will work in the future as we leave it with him. Because sometimes the athlete has to work a whole lot harder to run the race that's before him than just getting out there and running a race without any kind of workout. And we as Christians sometimes need to go through some of these moments when we have to learn to trust him. And the discipline that Jesus helps us to get by trusting in him. You say, well, I can with some things, other things I can't. That's just a part of working out spiritually. When you are aware of the fact that now this thing is taking up your mind, taking up your heart, this is taking up your whole life. He says, do you trust me? Will you believe in me? So I ask you, is there anything you have yet to see God work in an area of your life? And you say, well, I've tried, but I just don't see him doing anything. Will you quit? Will you quit so quickly? Will you not allow your faith to grow? Will you think you're the only one that can make this happen? Because God's not on the scene. So I ask, this week, your way, Lord, your way. I hand it over to you. And when it comes back like a flaming torch into my soul, and all I can do is think about it, then I'll ask you to take that flaming sword out, and I will recommit it to you, and I'll keep coming back to you as long as I have to in order for me to find the peace of knowing that I'm following you and you will take care of whatever it is that's bugging me.